All right. Thank you guys again for joining me for another episode of Wine Down Wednesday. I have my glass of wine right here, some red wine. Joining me today, this beautiful Wednesday, we have Miss Yolanda with Unbreakable Minds. I'm so excited to talk to her today. She's going to explain to us all about her business. We're going to talk a little bit about branding because, I'm a brand photographer, and just kind of delve into her business. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Miss
Excellent. Well,
Yolanda.
thank you, Miss Ivory. It's good to be here with you. And I love that concept of wind down Wednesdays because, midweek we be needing to start on the downslope.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
because it
let's
can be
cheers to
intense.
that, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. How about you tell us what Unbreakable Minds is?
Okay, so Unbreakable Minds is a life coaching business, and it is geared to young people, right? Because we know that, especially with the pandemic that's going on now, our youth are just struggling. Mental health issues are on the rise. And they were already struggling just in adolescence and that part of their life anyway, right? And so, I have worked with children all of my adult life, and I just know the struggles. And when you work with them at a job, you're kind of restricted as to what you can do, what you can say, how deep you can go, all those kinds of things. And so I just recognize the need for young people to be able to understand their vision or identify what their vision is, just kind of clear their path and become unstuck, because we all have these aspirations to do great things, but life gets in the way. And so I just wanted to be able to offer that service to young people so that, what I know now as an adult approaching 50, is something that I could teach them or help them through that journey at a young age so that they can be clear and begin to identify and establish those goals, early in life, and kind of get rid of some of the frustration of not knowing what to do next.
Right.
So we are life provide life coaching services, and we gear to ages 14 to 24, but anybody can get it.
Does
Right?
anybody
Anybody
need
can
it,
get it.
right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I talk to parents, and the parents are like, "Shoot, I need a life coach."
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what we
Okay.
do.
I like that. I like that, especially like you said, right now during this corona, this COVID, anxiety levels are super high right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is definitely a time that is needed, right?
Hmm.
So Unbreakable Minds, I love the name of that. Tell me, how did you come up with that concept?
So the word unbreakable was just in my spirit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was just like, unbreakable teens, unbreakable you, unbreakable something, I don't know. And I had a conversation with a young lady, and we just started talking about, or I was sharing with her, where the mind goes, the energy flows, right? And so we spent a lot of time ruminating on things that have happened in the past, and kind of, like I said, being stuck. And then we, are worried about what's going to happen in the future, and so I also am a mindfulness trainer. And so I just thought about the power of the mind. And if we can kind of get control of what we have going on in our minds, then we can become unbreakable, And so I was like, the light went off, and I was like, oh my gosh, unbreakable mind.
Right, yeah. Because it,
And
it starts in the mind, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and so the future belongs to minds that are clear, that are courageous, that are confident, and that are committed to living their best life on purpose. And so
Right.
that's kind of my tagline, and so if I can help young people become unbreakable and have an unbreakable mind, then there's a lot of things that can be accomplished.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank
I
you.
love that. So you said you work with teens from age 14 to 24, so the youth, young adults.
Mhm.
Um, and I understand the concept of Unbreakable Minds. What exactly is your mission? Uh,
Right. So my personal mission is to
mhm.
serve as many young people as I can. We want to create a life-changing experience that will transform their lives in a way that will bring that clarity to their vision, help them to develop coping skills, to overcome obstacles. Sometimes, you know, folks are just lacking certain skills that they don't realize that they need. And so if we can create that experience and develop those coping skills and then establish the goals, what is the vision? Okay, we have the vision. I often take people on a journey into, a year from now or 3 years from now. Well, for young folks, probably 6 months, because right. And so, not saying what will life look like in 6 months, but take them to that place.
Right.
Today is
Visualizing their mind.
right.
Yeah.
So, 6 months from today, let's go there. Okay. And what is it that you want to have accomplished in 6 months? And they talk to me as if it's 6 months from now. So they say things like, I have established this goal. I am, doing my thing. The journey was amazing, and so they can see themselves there, which lets them know that it's possible, you
Right.
know. And when they can see the possibilities, then we can determine what is this journey going to look like.
Love
And
that.
so then we begin to establish the goals and create an action plan. And so, with an action plan, then I know when I wake up every day, what steps I need to be taking in order to, ultimately reach that goal and get to that
Right.
place. And again, just to be able to live their best life on purpose, you got to be intentional.
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
know,
I live by that every day. I feel like just to manifest, you have to wake up with intention. So I really truly believe that. That's beautiful. I love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. On purpose,
On purpose.
by any means necessary.
Exactly. Right. I know that's right. All
hmm
right. So of course, I'm a brand photographer. So I
Right.
have to ask, I love to ask this question. So you being an adult, you are reaching out to teens and the youth.
Yes.
How do you reach them? How do you attract them? Where do you go to find them?
Right. So, it's so interesting. I have two young people of my own. I have a daughter who is 10 and another daughter who is 11, going on 12 real soon. And I tell you, I have resisted TikTok and IG for the longest, right?
Yeah.
And so finally, I allowed them to get on TikTok. And so in order to be able to kind of monitor what they had going on, I had to get on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and so definitely that's one place that I plan to go. And I know that those videos are short, and you kind of got to say what you got to say real quick and get out of there, because we know our young people, look, even me, our attention spans are short.
It's a snap.
Right. It's so much going on. I got to get to say what I got to say and move to the next thing. So definitely we will be putting information out on TikTok. And I'm excited because my daughter, I get the opportunity to work with her, and she is a rising teenager, and she's very mature. So I consider her like these 14 and 15-year-olds that I will be working with. And so I'm going to let her guide me in that direction to know what people her age and a little bit older than her need and are looking for. And so I mentioned IG as well. I've had an IG account forever, and I go on there every now and then, but I know that's all my young cousins and, students that I have counseled in the past, they're all there, and so I'm like, okay, I got to get on the ball here. And so I have created my Instagram account. And so, I'll be launching all of those platforms come April 1st. And so, and then eventually spreading out to YouTube as well, because we want to create some videos, hearing from young people. And then we also want to create some courses that will allow young people to get the skills that we were talking about, but to get them in their own time. And so that they can acquire those skills. And then when they come to me, we could just focus on the coaching.
Right.
So yeah. And then of course, when young people are younger than 18, then we're dependent on the parents to kind of get this information, and
Right.
and say, I can see my child benefiting from this type of service. And so, of course, all my friends on Facebook, I'm definitely going to be out there, talking
Hmm.
to the parents, because as the kids go on the journey, the parents have to be in a place to support them.
Right.
And so I'm excited about reaching out to them there. And so, we're going to be on all platforms eventually, but definitely going out of my comfort zone to get in the places where young
No, we
people,
all got to go out of our comfort zone,
yeah,
right?
yeah, go
Yeah.
hang out where young people hang out.
Right. That's funny.
Yes.
So I'm gonna throw you a curveball. If you could tell your younger self between the age of 14 and 24, if you could tell that person anything, what would you tell that person?
Oh my goodness.
Yolanda between 14 and 24.
Wow. 14 and 24. Well, definitely my younger 14-year-old self. I was a only child raised in a single parent home. I was a latchkey kid for a long time. And so I spent a lot of time by myself. Right. And so, my parents or my family didn't really know the questions to ask. They provided the best opportunities for me, but they just didn't know the questions to ask.
Right.
And so what I would tell my younger self, especially at the age of 14, is to seek out people, surround yourself with people who are going to lift you and build you up, who are models for what it is that you want to do, who are doing big things in the community. And so, just to be able to create my own network,
Right.
because excuse me, sometimes kids can't control their environment, their home. Parents are kind of in charge at that age, but we got to focus on the things that we can control. So that's another thing I would say: focus on
Yeah.
what you can control, right?
Mhm.
And then what you can control is seeking out those people. So if I'm in school, and I have somebody that I really gravitate to and I really respect this person, and they listen to me, they give good advice, add that person to my network and let the person know that you are in my top 5,
Mhm.
and so I definitely would encourage my younger self to surround myself with people who gonna lift me up and have me ready for the world.
Yes, because this world will eat you up and spit you out.
Absolutely. 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 So it's a range, from 14
Mhm.
to 24 is 10 years.
Yeah.
So, that's what I would tell my 14-year-old self. But then I think about myself in college,
Mhm.
18 through 22, 23. And again, I didn't have mentors in my life until, well, people who I said these are my mentors, until I was an adult, really. There were people who were kind of serving the role, but it was an established relationship. So
Right.
definitely seek out a mentor. And then don't be afraid to go deep. You know, um, we have so much in us. Like, as a coach, I realize that the young people that I work with, they have all the answers that they need. I just have to help pull those answers out, you
Right.
know. And so if I at my 20 something year old self had someone just talking to me and asking me the right questions, allowing me to go deep, allowing me to be vulnerable,
Mhm.
and so that's another thing I would tell myself, just to be vulnerable. It's okay. When you find somebody who is not going to be judging you and is not going to, um, make you feel bad about your thoughts or some actions
Right.
that you might have taken in your young life, establish that bond and just be you, open up
Mhm.
and go deep so that you can really know what you want. And when you leave college or leave high school or whatever, that you can just get on your journey and start doing what you're passionate about, what you love. Because we spend our lifetime, we get a job and the job is paying us decent, we have benefits, but we're not loving the job. It's not something that we would do for free. It's not something
Mhm.
that we are so passionate about that, we would just give it away.
Right.
So learn about that passion early and incorporate that into what you're going to be doing every day.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I especially love the part where you said be vulnerable. Especially in that college state, you're surrounded by your peers. You always have that wall up, you want to impress, but it's important to just be vulnerable, be yourself. I really
Absolutely.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you have a good relationship with your daughters, especially them being young girls.
Yes.
Having this knowledge now, I think that's important as well.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. While they're still young.
While they're still
And I'm
young.
so grateful for that.
Yeah. So do you do preventative? So it's not really therapy, it's just coaching, right? Do you do
Right.
preventative coaching with the
Um,
youth or?
yeah. So I spent all of my adult career working with young people. I served
Okay.
as a middle school counselor a school counselor for 16 years, and 14 of those years were in middle school. Those years were in high school. I did
Okay.
intensive in-home work, prior to that. And so, um, you know, counseling and coaching is different,
Okay.
because counseling, especially in a school, I am helping you find the answer to the problem you have going on right now. And we got to get that solved so you can go back and learn. So you can
Okay.
go back, it's all about getting back to class.
Right.
And so it is very, quick counseling going on. And when I see the answer, like I'm having a conversation with you, and when I see the answer that comes up, then I can tell you that this is what I see, and I can tell you what it is. But coaching is different because I recognize that the power that the person has within, and so I have to let them answer the question.
Okay.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I have to, and another difference between counseling and coaching is that with coaching, you stay in the present moment. How are you feeling now? How is this affecting you now? How is this way of thinking that you're having, again, going back to the minds, how is that impacting how you show up?
Right.
And so just being focused on the present so that they're not stuck in what has already happened or what has happened in the past.
Yeah.
So being able to be present is one of the main differences that coaching brings, and just being able to empower the person to look at their current situation, and then, how am I what do I need to do or to get or to be in order to move to the place where I want to be, you know.
Right.
So from
Okay.
going from who I am to who I want to be, or where I am to where I want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. So you
Yes.
you know a little bit of something, right?
Something. Yes. I was like, what is the best way that I can show up for kids in a situation that
Yeah.
I can control, And so I was exploring a whole different business opportunity at one point. And as I started to focus more on my passion and my purpose in life, then I ended up here. And I just figured I could remove all walls, all barriers, and just show up 100% for young people. And I'm
I
so
love
excited about
that.
it. Yeah, I'm so excited
Yes.
about it.
And you are going to make a big difference. So that I love that. So tell me, what is your biggest fear in business?
So, it's interesting because, um, you know, as you working with folks and you get this idea to become a business owner, um, you start thinking of all the things that could go wrong, right? And
Yes.
so I have often in my young adult life had a fear of failure, right? And so it's always like, I want to try this, but what if this happens? I want to try that. What if this happens? And so as I got older, especially working as a counselor and kind of counseling myself through some things, and I got the vision and I knew what it was that I wanted to do. That fear of failure then turned into a fear of success. Like, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, I see it happening. I see doors opening. I feel it in my spirit that this is something I'm supposed to do. This is my calling. And so I'm answering the call and being obedient. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, so what is this going to mean for my family? Once I'm successful and I'm doing all these things, I'll have to be away from the family. I'll maybe have to travel. I'll have to speak in front of all these people. I have, books that I
Right.
got to write and I got to write. It's like, so it's like you spend all this time, trying to get rid of the fear of failure, and you leap. And then you're like, oh my gosh, there's a fear of success. And
Right.
so I was like, I got to get this thing under control. And so what I did, which kind of contributed to my desire to be a coach, was I got myself a coach, right?
Yeah.
And I got myself a coach, and I started doing all those that deep work that I want to do with my clients. And as I began to go deeper, I just started realizing that if I give in to fear, then I alter God's plan for my life.
Right.
Right. And then I also alter the plans for the lives of the young people whose breakthrough is waiting on me. Right. I called so many of my educator friends when I was talking about going into this idea. And they were like, oh my gosh, Yolanda, do it. Like, you would be amazing. You have the experience, and I heard over and over and over, somebody's next level is waiting on you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's breakthrough is waiting on you. And so then it became, what happens if I don't do this?
Right.
Right. So I had to let that be bigger than my fear. So
Right.
between having a coach and recognizing that my purpose was bigger than my fear, that his plan for my life was bigger than my fear, then I was able to move forward. Right. And so being in this pandemic, I'm using it as a plandemic.
Yes.
And last year, I became very clear on what it was I wanted to do. And once you get clarity too, that helps you deal with the fear, you know.
Exactly.
And so that's what we did. And so now we're moving forward, and
I
I'm
love it.
excited. The fear is gone, and I'm like, let's just do it. Failure is a part of success. You can't have
Yeah.
success without failure. And so I'm putting myself out there to be willing to fail in order to succeed and help as many people as I can.
Yeah. Failure is it's a good thing because you learn. That's how you learn.
Absolutely, it's a
You
part
learn
of the
from those
journey.
mistakes. Exactly.
It's a part of the journey. And so getting these young people to understand that as well is going to be a breakthrough in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that difference.
absolutely.
Um, so let me ask you, what does success look like for you in Unbreakable Minds?
So success looks amazing. I'm so excited about it. The clients or the young people that I serve, just seeing them reach their goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, with young people, we want to have smart goals, goals that are simple, manageable, they're attainable, they're realistic, and we have some time constraints, right? And so as I work with young people, the ideal time frame would be like 3 months, right? Three
Okay.
months is really where you can see some transformation. But if I'm working with you now and we determine a goal for 3 months, then, just to see you reach that goal, would really be, I would feel like my work was done, and then to be in the routine or to be in the mindset to be able to continue that, whether
Right.
our relationship continues or not. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely having my clients reach their goal. And then, so in addition to individual coaching, I will eventually start group coaching, so once we can get to a certain point on an individual basis, what needs do I see in my individual clients where they can work collectively, because the great thing about group coaching is that, I show up, I create the space, but the
Mm-hmm.
power is in the group, right?
Right.
And so, you all of them get to a certain place and then they can collaboratively be there for each other, to hold each other accountable, to share their experiences, to be able to say, oh, you're going through that, I went through that already, and this is what worked for me, maybe you can try this, and then coming back and being able to share those successes, those wins, is going to be amazing. I also plan to create a safe space network. So I was talking to you about, telling my earlier my younger self about creating my own network. And so that's a skill, to be able to teach young people to create their own network, and to
Yes.
be able to say, these are the 5 people I need in my life. Let me go out and seek those people out, and then let them know that they serve that purpose in my life, being intentional, right? So I'll create a safe space network within Unbreakable Minds, but then I'm going to teach you how to go out and create your own safe space network of
Right.
people who will help you grow and help you reach the level that you're trying to go. And then lastly, I want to create a teens guide to being unbreakable. So, just a little thin, little something.
Yeah, like a pamphlet or like a little book or something.
Yeah, book,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
So I will publish this guide. And so this is something that, churches will be able to use, youth
Yeah.
programs will be able to use, just even other coaches will be able to use with young people as they coach them. Because in my research, what I've realized is that there are not a lot of coaches out there who are focusing their attention on young folks.
Right.
And so I want to be able to have a resource for them. And then, my clients will have this resource long after we've done our work, that they could have as a reminder or something to go back to. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because there's a lot of stuff for past the age of 25, when you've already gone through all of your life experiences and you're kind of already in the, and it's hard to change your mindset once you're that old.
absolutely.
So I love the fact that you focus on the youth. You can catch them earlier. It's easier to mold their mind. So I really love that.
Right. And
Yeah.
our minds are growing and developing, up to the age of 25. And so, if you can the earlier you can intervene and, jump in and provide those resources for young folks, the better it helps to mold and create the mindset that's going to allow them to be successful, whatever that looks
Yeah.
like for them, and to achieve what they want to achieve in life.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Yes. Unbreakable
Absolutely.
Minds. All right.
Absolutely.
So I know you said you're going to have everything up and running April 1st.
Yes.
But if you could tell me, where can we find you? How can we get in contact with you? What's all your contact information?
Yes. So on Facebook, I am Unbreakable Minds Coaching, as well as IG, Unbreakable Minds Coaching, and TikTok.
And TikTok.
And TikTok.
We're going to be looking for those TikTok now.
Yes. And so, like I said, those platforms have been established, but April 1st is when, we're going to unveil and unleash.
And unleash it all.
Yes.
Flood the timelines with all the
Right.
content.
That's right. And I so appreciate this time with you, Ivory, because, this is going to be something that I can put on my platforms, and giving me the opportunity to kind of introduce myself and introduce my concept to my followers. And so I'm very grateful for this time with you. And I'm looking forward to getting your assistance and helping me with my branding.
Yes.
We have already talked about getting some photos taken, and so getting the website done and just some photos for my social media platform. So I'm excited. About what
Thank
we're going to be able to
you.
do together. Yes.
Yes, I so appreciate you for joining me. This was so much fun. I
Yes.
love the concept behind Unbreakable Mind. So, I couldn't give up the opportunity to talk to you today. This
Yes.
is awesome.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to whatever else we can do in the future.
Exactly. We will talk. Let's cheers with our glass of wine. Cheers to
Cheers.
success to you and your business. Changing minds, breaking these minds, unbreakable minds, making sure that they don't break.
That's right.
Much
That's right.
success to you.
They might be bent, but they're not broken.
Hey, say it again. I love it.
Yes, might be bent, but not broken.
I
Absolutely.
know that's right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Yolanda. Everybody, you can check all of her contact information down below. If you need to get in contact with her again, April 1st, she's going to have everything open for you guys to contact her. Unbreakable Minds Coaching on Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to find her on TikTok.
That's right.